maligayang Pasko at maligayang bagong taon sa inyong lahat. Welcome sa inyong lahat. Man, I wish I could play some. I was just listening to that the King and the Sting album that Lil Browse produced, I think. It's got fucking it's good. Good. I wish I could play some of it, but go check it out. It's on Spotify. I think you can buy it on iTunes, but I did that. Spotify's doing like I think like a 3-month trial thing or whatever, and so I could just listen to it on there. But it's good, worth it. Go check it out. So let's get into it. What is today? Oh yeah. So finishing up the year. Oh yeah, I guess that's what I was saying. If you don't speak Tagalog, I was just saying Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. As I said last time, whatever you celebrate, happy whatever. And so it's the end of the year. God, I think we're through our. There wasn't any UFC events this weekend. But going forward, I think we have 2 more weeks. The 16th. Oh my goodness, that week 3 huge events on Fight Island. Got fucking Holloway, Cater, Chimaev, and Leon Edwards, and then Poirier, McGregor, Dos. So 3 weeks. It's gonna be a big one. And until then, though, guess we're gonna have to suck it up, figure it out. But actually, on Wednesday, this coming up Wednesday, the 30th of December, there is Chael Sonnen Submission Underground 20. They decided to fit another one in before the end of the year. I talked a little bit about last week, last episode, and there was Mason. So Mason Fowler, he's the absolute champion, the no weight limit, Chael Sonnen Underground grappling champion, and last time he grappled Satoshi Ishii, the gold medalist or Olympian or champion, gold something. But this time, so he's going to be going against Ryan Bader, who is the Bellator heavyweight champion, and he beat Rumble Johnson last week. So Mason Fowler and him are gonna go on Wednesday. That'll be the main event. The overall, I think it starts at 3, the prelims, and did I write it down when the actual? Oh yeah. So 3 p.m. is the prelims, 6 p.m. is the main event. That's EST time zone, and it's a full card, I guess. I can go over that. So let's see. Yeah. Wednesday, December 30th, live at 3 p.m. Oops, sorry, I messed that up. It's 3 p.m. PST or 6 p.m. EST. So 3 p.m. if you're in California, and 6 p.m. if you're in New York. SUGXX, SUGXX, Submission Underground 20. So yeah, Ryan Bader, Mason Fowler, Satoshi Ishii, Craig Jones, CB Dalloway, Richie Martinez, the Boogeyman. It's another badass dude right there, Richie Martinez. Pearl Gonzalez, Hottie, Jillian Robertson, Hottie. Jillian Robertson competed last last time. She got beat by the now women's champ. Oh, Shiza. Sorry, move that. Hunter Colvin, then Pearl Gonzalez. Yeah, they're both, and Jillian Robertson, both UFC fighters. Hunter Colvin, Gabriel Gonzaga. I don't know them. I don't know any of the rest of these people. But, oh yeah, Charlie Gilpin. Hold on, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Andy Varela, Ben Eagley, Benji Silva, Makai Brakefield, Kristen Mickelson v. Rita Gribben, Juan Bernardo, Alex Laramie, John Simon versus Charlie Gilpin. I believe Charlie Gilpin was the guy that he fought. He won last week too. So that is Wednesday. So if you need a little get me over the hump. That'll be happening on Hump Day. And then, so let's see what's after that. So it's this Wednesday. And then on Friday, actually, it's listed. Bellator's listing at Bellator 255. So supposedly, I'm gonna watch Friends. Joey, supposedly. So Friday, they're filling it in on Friday. There's no. It says TBD. So I guess they're figuring it out what they want. Maybe they were like, oh shit, UFC's not doing anything for 3 weeks. Might as well get in there. People will watch us, which is good plan. But there's nothing right now. Yeah, it just says TBD. So I guess we'll see if they figure it out. But if something does happen, that should be this Friday. And what's after that? Anyone else? So that's this week. Unfortunately, the week after there is I didn't. Oh wait, did I find something? I think I did find something. Some obscure stuff. What is the date on this? 8 January. So 8 January, Friday, 8 January. Ooh, excuse me. Mountain Force 21 in Logan, Utah. Interesting. You can. I guess there's a pay-per-view live stream for $21. You can get that. It starts at 7 p.m. Logan, Utah time. Oh, excuse me. That's right in your ear. My bad. That's gross. But Friday, 8 January, Logan, Utah, 7 p.m. through. If you go to mountainforcemma.com, and then they have a little thing down there, and you click on it, you can, for $21, you can watch it if you're really fiending. And I was reading through the card, and it looks like there's a lot of people making their pro debuts. A lot of 0-0-0 records, 0-0-0 v 0-0-0, 0-0-1 v. Yeah, so it's like what do you call? Yeah. Like real beginner, I guess. So interesting. If you wanna, like I said, if you're feeling you feel like spending $21, you can stream that. Watch these dudes in Utah. And after that, there's a Combate Americas on 30 December in San Antonio. I wasn't able to find how to stream that. But you can look it up. It's TS1 Promotions presents Combate Americas on 30 December in San Antonio. Then let's see, Rising's doing a New Year's Eve event. So it's Rising 26 in Saitama, Japan. And the headliners are Kai Asakura v Kyoji Horiguchi. It's a bantamweight title match. So there's a live pay-per-view stream for English-speaking fans, spectators. You go to just live-now.com, $24.99. This on Thursday, 31 December, midnight, kicking off the new year. So between now and that big week on January 16th, when those Bang 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 3 events on Fight Island happen, that's what I was able to find. That you can go and check out the Chosonen Underground, and you can get if you don't have UFC Fight Pass, I believe they're doing I can't remember how many day trial, but it's a trial run, so it's worth checking out, especially even if you just do it for this little couple of weeks in between UFC and other major MMA or big events, because all kinds of shit on there, all the UFCs, all the past UFCs you want to see. You can look up by fighter. They also got like LFA on there. I think they got old RFA stuff. They got kickboxing. They got Lethway on there. Check that out. Lethway's cool. The Art of the 9 Limbs. You can throw headbutts in there. Shit is pretty cool. And yeah, I was looking to see if they had any of those events coming up, but I guess the first big one in America was the one that I saw in September. And hopefully we'll see this coming year if they come back. Hopefully that picks up. That would be cool to see and cool to do. Let us see. Moving on from there. So that's yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Check it out. I think there's the trial thing for UFC Fight Pass. Definitely worth it if you like watching combat sports. Because like I said, it's not just UFC events on there. Um, all those other ones I named, they part of Invicta, which excuse me, all the old past Invicta, and they do the Invicta live events. That's where you watch Submission Underground, all kinds of stuff. If you like combat sports, that's the stream to get. Um, so yeah, that ESPN Plus. I did see something though. I guess UFC is moving. Oh yeah, I guess that's relevant for. I th- Damn, I had to go back and look, but I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself because we got a couple weeks before uh, Fight Island happens again, and with COVID going on, we just keep getting fucked over. So who knows? But I did see that ABC they're going to ABC, going to network maybe for fight nights or something. Ooh, excuse me, ASMR. But yeah, uh, we'll see. Like I said, that's getting ahead of ourselves. A lot can happen in 2 weeks, but in between time, check out those other things. If you want, get that UFC Fight Pass trial run, and if you already have it, there you go. Look at the shit on there. So yeah, usually I guess on these episodes I recap past fights, but that's no, like I said, we haven't had any, and so I figured I will talk about. Yeah, I guess that's a good lead in. So UFC Fight Pass and ESPN Plus has been great. So for me, so I had a little break. I used to watch. I talked about this, I think, in the first episode. I used to watch like all the UFC pay-per-views, and I kept in what do you call it? Tough. Ultimate Fighter, the reality show. So keep up with those, and then there was like a 2 year period. I think towards the end of my Marine Corps, I was going through my separation slash divorce. So then I was like pretty poor. I didn't have a I was unemployed for a little bit in between both of those when I got out of Marine Corps, and then also during my separation. And not relevant. The only reason I'm bringing it up is saying like because obviously pay per costs money to watch the pay per views unless you stream it, which is now a felony, or if you we're saying yeah, the pay per views cost money, and then also subscriptions. I mean ESPN they just made that recently, but also having the UFC Fight Pass, etc., to be able to watch that stuff. So there was like I think the end of 2016, basically the time I got out of the Marine Corps, so the end of 2016 until COVID, that I wasn't, or right before COVID, that I was out of touch with keeping up with UFC and MMA in general, which were huge. All kinds of fucking shit happened between 2016 and when was this? 2000, the end of 2019. I missed a big chunk. But silver lining of COVID is I don't have to commute to work. I have work remote, and I'm not driving around to a bunch of activities for kids because everything's been shut down. So silver lining is I got to catch up on a lot of MMA, and also get to go do some training, which I'll get into in a minute. But sorry, and yeah. So the silver lining is that I got a lot of extra time. Um, Bad thing is, yeah, people died, but including my grandma. But got to watch a lot of MMA. So, like I said, so yeah, so I got to take the time to. That was a weird laugh. I don't like it. Just forget, rub it, scrub it out of your ears. Uh, so like I said, I got to not having to commute saves. It's crazy how much time it saves. And so I was haven't yeah, like all those things that I said were going on in my life, getting out of the Marine Corps, being trying to get a job, getting a job, being a contractor, getting losing contract, being unemployed, getting separated, getting divorced, all that shit. I was always doing other things, and I wasn't. Does it sound like an excuse to say I wasn't making the time for myself? Because I mean, I wanted to make sure it sounds like I'm blaming me. I didn't make the time to take care of myself or do shit for myself. Which, like I said, silver lining of COVID, I was able to. Oh, I guess I was going to school too. So school work, blah blah blah, all that. So I made the time for myself. And I used to do jujitsu. The first time I did jujitsu, I was, I believe, in middle school, and I want to say it was ninth grade, the summer of ninth grade. And my dad, I didn't even know what it was. And I don't know how my dad heard about it, but he took me. There was this class, they were doing it like in the cafeteria of the middle school at night. But they would, like, all the uh, cafeteria tables were pushed to the side, and they would put mats down. And that was the first time, ninth grade. I believe that was the first time. I don't remember if that was before or after I'd been to the. Oh, this had to be before, because I was like an older actual teenager when I went with my stepdad to the man. I still gotta get up with him and find out the what event it was. But anyways, we're at doing the jujitsu in the cafeteria where they cleared up, put the mats down. And I was like the only kid there. They're all adults, and I saw these dudes rolling around on the ground, and they were just like rolling around and rolling around, and they would pop out. Like one a guy would be like, I didn't know what it was. It would be like armbar another dude, or they would be rolling around, and someone would be like, then they would tap, and I'd be like, damn, what the fuck? They just look like a ball that looks like. Have you ever seen those National Geographic of they're like these balls of snakes fucking each other? That's what that's what it looked like to me. Just like a tangle of snakes, because they're all just like intertwined and rolling around, and then at some point someone would be like, and then they would tap, or someone would pop out with an armbar or like a kimura or something like that. Uh, and I was like, man, that shit is crazy looking, because I was like, yeah, I didn't even know what to think about it, but I wasn't allowed to grapple at that point when I first got in there, because we were doing katas, and they were teaching me like the different moves, and so I learned, and they were also, this is something I yeah so then then they did teach like small joint manipulation, like these wrist locks, which ended up turning out being pretty useful through the rest of my life. And the point of that is that I yeah so I was able to so that yeah well first of all, that was my first experience with jujitsu. I had no idea what it was, but when I saw it, I still had no idea what it was, but I was like, this is interesting. And it was immediately useful in my mind. I could see how it would apply to just any normal altercation, because I had done taekwondo when I was younger, and I think I talked about this before. I just called it karate. I didn't know what Koreans were back then either. Taekwondo, and then so I do taekwondo, and you do the kicking, and that was kind of when I was younger. I always was like, I had a one of my younger sisters. She used to compete in taekwondo, and they would do that, that point karate stuff. And I was like, man, this isn't like real fighting. Even though I did see two Korean dudes in middle school. They got in a fight after school. I'm jumping around, but I talked about this with my buddy Ethan on our other episode. But anyway, so these two Korean dudes after school. One guy, he was picking on the quiet kid, and then they agreed to fight after school, and they like squared off, and they started throwing like fucking tornado kicks. Like It was crazy. And the little quiet dude, the one that wasn't a bully, he whooped the other dude's ass. Fucking whooped his, kicked him, and then he was like all humble. He's like, he fucking bowed and shit. It's crazy. So that's, I guess, the only time I've seen like karate applied in real life and it worked. But other than that, oh, excuse me, ASMR. But other than that, I was like, man, it's not applicable. But with the jujitsu, oh, excuse me, it, I noticed it was because that summer I also went to visit some family in Missouri, and my cousin, he's old, or actually I think we're the same age, but he's bigger than me, and he was a great. I always thought he was a, like a year older, but I think we're like exact same age almost. But they didn't have. So he comes from this like tiny ass town in Missouri, like population 20, and the kindergarten class didn't have enough. Ooh, excuse me. The kindergarten class, there weren't any kids. He was the only kindergartner, so they moved him up to first grade. So he got promoted up to first grade. And the funny thing too is like my dad, he was in the Marine Corps. He went on this deployment where he couldn't, or it was like I think the MEU or something. So he went on like the MEU, and I couldn't, or that's he. Basically we're Marines. You go on a ship. So he went on a Marine Corps cruise, and he couldn't take my sister and I. And so we went to stay with our grandma in Missouri. And when I got there, I guess the school year had already started. So if I had got there like a month earlier or something, then my cousin and I would have both been in kindergarten together. But because there was another kid, maybe my sister, maybe were we in no, we weren't in kindergarten. But either way, point of it is he's bigger than me, and we were doing something in the kitchen, and he tried to take the spatula, or he was trying to hit me with the spatula, and I grabbed his hand and like twisted his wrist, and he was and every story I tell about him, he's crying. But so this one, let's say he started crying, but he dropped the spatula or whatever, and he stopped fucking with me, and so that's why, like I say, the jujitsu is it's applicable in like real life situations because it's all about um, you know, positioning and submission and manipulating, the joints and also chokes. Because most fights, people end up either on the ground. You either end up, and then a lot of people too. Like if you look, if you ever saw fights at school and stuff, a lot of people, you starts out with like pushing and shoving, and then gets into hitting. So in that pushing and shoving, jiu-jitsu is a lot more applicable than throwing strikes. in general, obviously strikes, punching someone in the mouth is pretty effective too. But if you're trying to go from what do you call it, degrees of escalation, jiu-jitsu is great because you can use it just to control position and or submit someone that's bigger than you. Because sometimes even if you punch someone in the mouth, it doesn't have any effect. And then I can't remember who said it. I feel like it was Billy Bob Thornton maybe, but there's some movie where they're like, like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. It's like no, sometimes the bigger they are, the harder they kick your ass. So some people, you can fucking hit them in the mouth with a baseball bat, and they're just gonna spit out their teeth and keep coming. So, and those people, if you can get your elbow under their chin, you can choke them out. But anyways, or like in the situation with my cousin, was able to take the spatula away from him, and so he didn't slap me with it. But anyways, I say all of that to say, I took the time for myself, and I went to a gym to get into, because I was like, oh yeah, I want to start doing jiu-jitsu again. and because it's also, really, it's for the most part low impact, and uh, my ankles are all trash, and I'm fucking fat now, or I'm a little less fat now, but I'm still fatter than I was when I was in the Marine Corps. And so I was just looking for, I wanted to do something and also get, that feeling of, when I was in the military, I was always training, and it felt like we were getting ready for something all the time, and that's something that I haven't had in a while. Like I haven't had like that team kind of camaraderie. I mean, there's some guys that I talk to, some vet guys, but there's not like a mission, like I don't have a team mission, and there's not like this outlet of, oh, I'm going to do something physical. I'm not competing at anything physical. And that's kind of what I was looking for going into jiu-jitsu. I went, found the gym, did, most gyms, if you can go do, well, excuse me, the free intro class where you get to go and check it out and then decide if you want to join or not or whatever. So I went, did a jiu-jitsu class. I mean, it was COVID time, so it was we were doing on practice dummies, but it was still good. And in the back, there were people doing Muay Thai, which I've never done, never considered. I've never, like I said, I did Taekwondo when I was a kid, and then after that, I did Jiu-Jitsu, and then I was like, oh, Jiu-Jitsu is cool, and so I haven't done anything like that in a while. I mean, a little, in the Marine Corps, you make map or whatever. We hit pads and stuff like that. But it's not the same thing at all. And so I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna check that out. So Saturday I went, did my intro jiu-jitsu. Then Sunday I went in and did a Muay Thai circuit course, like heavy bag circuit course. Woo! Fucking winded me, and I fell in love. I was like, this shit is awesome. I couldn't, I couldn't like, I, I had to switch bags because I have these like teardrop bags. Like, I don't know what the name of them is for, and I was trying to kick, and my leg didn't get high enough, so I had to go to the big bags that hang all the way down to the floor. So I can kick people in the shins real good, but at that time I kick a little higher. I can get to the body now, but the point of that was I was like, man, this shit is cool. I like it. So then I started going to Muay Thai like once or twice a week, and then Jiu-Jitsu on the weekend. And then by the end of it, I switched where I was just going to Muay Thai all the time. Right now, DC shit is closed, so they're doing online stuff, and they have open gym. I haven't gone to the open gym. Fucking dumb me, but I need to go do that. But I also set up a little COVID gym in the back. But point of it is, it's been great. So yeah, that's a little bit. So that's how I got into jiu-jitsu, and then how jiu-jitsu got me into Muay Thai, and that made because it also, part of me going down there too was I was thinking about I can't remember what well, actually I can't remember what actually made me think about it, but I was watching something. I think someone said one of those videos of street fights or people getting mugged or something like that, and I was watching it and I was like, fuck, if that happened and I was like with my kids or something, and I was like, man, I'm probably really easy to beat up right now. Like I remember in the Marine Corps, I was always trying to get in fights. I was just a fucking idiot. But that's the mindset that you're supposed to be in always. But I was always chomping at the bit, as they say, and sitting back at this time, not I guess it was last year or the year before, when I was thinking about this, because I was making vision boards with my daughter. Or I don't know if you know what vision boards are, but they use those big what are those things? You get them at what is that place called? My daughter loves going there. It's an arts and crafts store or whatever. Like in high school or whatever, and you do your presentation, and you have those big fucking cardboard cutouts or whatever, and you put shit on there. Those things, but you cut out little pictures from magazines and books or whatever, and you put pictures on there of things that you want to visualize happening in your life. like you put healthy food on there, people working out or fucking a house or a boat or a car, whatever the fuck the shit that you want for yourself to accomplish or to have, you put it on there so you visualize it. And then you can, visualize it into reality or whatever. I think is the point. But anyway, so on mine I put on there, be hard to kill in green glitter. It's in green glitter. Because I was like, man, if someone attacked me while I'm with my daughter or tried to like grab my daughter at that time, I was in terrible shape, would get winded fucking walking up the stairs. I was like, I'm probably real easy to beat up right now. So that kind of got me in the mindset of, all right, how do I change that? I need to fucking start taking better care of myself. I need to eat better. I need to actually exercise. I need to figure out some kind of training that I can do, some kind of combat training or martial arts or something. And that's it that's kind of the steps that led me. So I guess I did, the vision board worked because I was looking at it, seeing that green glitter saying be hard to kill. And I was thinking, fuck, I need to do something about that. Quit being such a doughboy. Someone's going to fucking eat me up. And so I figured it out, started doing training and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, vision boards, people, check it out. I mean, I didn't even think about that, but I'm going to give the vision board credit. I'm going to give me credit for making the vision board and the credit for it happening. So, yeah, let's see. That, right. So, yeah, I got into the jiu-jitsus and I'm trying to think too, like, so that's the other thing too. So I went from thinking about like what terrible shape I was in and just feeling vulnerable, and then thinking about, so then that made me kind of reflect on my time in the military, and even thinking about then, because like I said, I was always ready to get in a fight. There was a time when I was getting in fights like every fucking weekend. Fighting fucking inebriated was our motto. We wanted to get, you know how like the Ivy League schools have those Latin little emblems or whatever, and it's like Veritas, blah blah blah, whatever on it. We wanted to get one that said fighting fucking inebriated ogres. And yeah, I'm trying. So I mean, every single one of the fights I got into was stupid, completely avoidable, for the most part. I'm gonna say 99%. That there were a couple where people did target us, but for the most part, even in those situations where people were, targeting, you can de-escalate. But at that time in my life, that wasn't our mind. Our mindset was fucking overwhelm and overcome, assault through. But and I also and I also mentioned before that we were doing some striking training in the Marine Corps, and we did a lot of grappling, and like looking back at it, it's so stupid. I'm surprised we didn't like break more things or kill each other. I did see it. There's I can't remember which stream it is, but it's one of those like Terminal Lance or one of those, and these dudes are rolling, they're grappling, doing McMap, and this kid's fucking, they're just running, his fucking arms just fucking breaks, it pops, and he's like, it's not funny at all, but he's just like, oh, dude, my arm's broken. I wish I could find it. I'll put the link up, but it's just, I don't know. It's, it's fucking Marines being Marines, but I'm surprised that more shit like that didn't happen, because it's like the same thing with all military PT. Maybe it's different now, and it was changing when I was in. I remember in Sergeant's course it was changing, but for the most part, the Marine Corps mentality, it's like, all right, whoever's the fastest runner, put them in front, everybody chase them. That's how we'll get good at running. It's like they're fast, everybody run at their speed, and you'll get that fast. Or whoever does the most pull-ups, everyone do this. It's get a real fucking high, your haircut cut real high and tight. That makes you an effective Marine kind of thing. So it's the same thing with McMap. like the martial arts training. But at least they had, the guys that got their red tabs or whatever, the trainers, they would get certified, and when they would go through their fucking hazing courses to get that. But if you didn't have a red tab and you were doing McMap, I think technically we're supposed to have a corpsman, a doc with us whenever we were doing it, but that didn't always happen. So like I remember we had this fucking brand new young lieutenant, uh, and he was like super motivated. I guess his dad was like a sergeant major and his mom was like a fucking army first sergeant, or maybe it was the other way around or something like that. And he was just this young, brand new fucking lieutenant. We were his first platoon, his first command, and he was just super gung ho, and we would do McMap all the time, and we'd have to fucking grapple him until. And this, so this goes into also me looking back and into like our technique. There's no, I mean, there was some technique. I, I mean, I rear naked choked a lot of people, but so where my advantage came from was I was fucking super strong. At this time, I was doing like 30 fucking pull-ups, dead hang real, not CrossFit pull-ups, 30 dead hang pull-ups. I was in fucking great shape at the time, and I would just muscle through everything. Like I didn't have to have great technique because I could muscle through pretty much anybody, and most submissions people are trying to put on me, I could muscle through them, and I could muscle my way into positions to get behind them, and then if I couldn't get it under their chin, I would grab their nose and pull on their nose. So it's just because what I mean, it's fucking Marine Corps grappling. There's no, yeah, I mean there is rules, but you can't poke people in the eyes. But so I just grab their nose and pull on their fucking nose until their head came up, and then get my the crook of my elbow under their chin, and then lights out. So yeah, I was able to just muscle through most. That was my technique, was muscling through. But anyway, so yeah, our lieutenant, he would grapple until he beat Aaron, and there was a couple of times where it's like, fucking just let this dude win, because he was gonna go for it. Like he would go forever. He was gonna go until he won, because he was never satisfied. This is how crazy this dude is. So we were getting prepped for this deployment to Korea, and it was like around the time that North Korea, they bombed, I can't remember the name of the islands, but they blew up some villages with artillery. They blew up some villages, and they killed some Korean South. In case you don't know, that it was South Korean Marines. So like shit was going on for real there. So he was getting us all hyped up. We were we were like, yeah, we're gonna go over there, and fucking this is gonna be the next Korean War, and we're gonna be the Marines going fucking, we're gonna be going across the 38th parallel and fucking stopping the Kim family and all that bullshit. So we're all hyped up like this shit's really gonna happen, and he was hyping us up for that. Like this, they didn't send him. He didn't end up going with us. Probably a good idea, because I feel like that guy, if he had gone to Panmunjom, the DMZ, the little blue huts where you can go and you can see the North Koreans standing there looking at you with binoculars, I'm sure that dude would have fucking ran right across. Like, this is the fucking moto fucking crazy that this dude was. I keep almost saying his name, but this dude was fucking nuts. But anyways, that was the grappling that we did. That was the training. It was just like, get in there, fucking figure it out. And so that was kind of also, looking back too, was my, what do you call it? My striking techniques. When I would get in fights, I had no guard. I never put my hands up. I never guarded my face. Some fights I would go into, this is fucking stupid. I would tell the person to hit me, because first of all, when I was a kid, my dad always told me, he's like, don't start a fight, don't throw the first punch, but if you get in a fight, if they hit you first, he's like, I don't care what the school, because this is when I was school age. He's like, I don't care what the school. He's like, you won't be in trouble with me if they throw the first punch, and you make sure you throw the last punch. Like, as long as you don't throw the first punch and you win the fight, he's like, you're not gonna be in trouble with me. He's like, I don't care what the school says. Maybe you'll get suspended or whatever, but if someone picks on you or someone, your family or your friends, if they put their hands on you, then you have my permission to fucking take them out. You know what I mean? Not kill them, obviously, but fucking whoop their ass or whatever. So I applied that throughout my life. And also, another caveat is all these. I was my entire first enlistment. I was drunk the entire time. So all of these fights too, product of being fucking young and drunk as well. So I go into it, and I would say, or tell them, yeah, hit me first. Or some of them I would tell them to hit me first. And there's some of, and I don't know, it kind of worked out because there was some where it's a good, it's kind of like that line in the sand because it's like, hey, hit me, go ahead and hit me first. And they're either going to do it or they're not. And if they don't, there were a bunch of fights where that de-escalated. They're like, no, man, I don't want to do this. And I was like, yeah, fucking bitch or something like that. Or I was like, all right. There's even someone I was like, all right, well, let's go drink then. So we were like, now we're friends. We got, we did a little chest bumping, and then now we're friends. Let's go get drunker. But so it either like it was like that. It would I guess make the point of they'd either be like it would determine whether or not they were actually wanting to do it. And to be completely honest, a lot of times I didn't want to. There were some of the fights or the about to be fights where I was like, fuck, I think I'm going to get my ass kicked. It's like, this dude is big, or he has a bunch of his boys here and I'm here by myself, or, you know what I mean? And so I was like, this is a bad situation, but I am, I'm already here, so I'm going to fucking keep going forward. I'm not backing up. It's completely stupid. But at that point, sometimes they'd be like, yeah, don't want to do it. But if they did, so this is another thing of kind of, in my experience with fighting, is you always, or for me, I've always, so you never know how hard someone can hit or how well they take a hit. Because it's like, I'm trying to think of a situation when I've hit someone and I'm like, been like, fuck, I didn't hurt this guy. I can't think of a specific one, but I can think of a lot of fights where I did it, where once you eat that first hit, you're like, oh, that's what they're throwing, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna be good. It's like, because it's like, if that's their punch, then I'm still standing. I can go through this. Or you like, or get rocked, and I'm like, oof, I do not want to eat any more of these. or get knocked out. So I've been punched. I've never been punched straight on and knocked out, but I've been hit in the back of the head and knocked out. And I didn't even know I was knocked out. Those are other stories. Maybe I'll get to those. Maybe not. But the point of what I'm saying here is looking back at the grappling techniques that we learned, which we weren't really. I mean, we were learning something, like we learned how to do fucking armbars, Kimuras, like passing the guard mount, blah blah blah. But we weren't really learning it the same way you do if you go to actual jiu-jitsu classes and stuff like that. Because I mean, if you're thinking about it in the Marine Corps, there's all kinds of other considerations. First of all, we're in like, sometimes you do it in full gear, or you're in boots and utes. You're in your uniform where you take your blouse off, but you have your still got your cami pants and your boots, or whatever. So there's all kinds of other considerations because it's not, regular life. You're doing other shit. But for me, yeah. So going into the fights, like looking back on it, my technique was I never guarded my face, never put my hands up. I would usually start out the fight like trying to eat a punch just to gauge what what the fight was going to be like. And then I also fucking was throwing punches from my hip, basically, just overhand right. That was my move. I'll throw overhand right, and I knocked out a bunch of people doing it. But there's also, because now, and looking, I didn't ever think about it then, but thinking about it now, it's like if I'm throwing from my hip, because they're looking at my face, and I'm throwing overhand right from my hip, they don't see it coming. Most of the time, there's one of my we're buddies at the time. I guess I don't know. We're not buddies now. We just have lost touch. We're not enemies or anything. If we see each other, we did run into each other randomly once, but I'll call him. Damn, I don't want to use his real name. I'll just call him the Tank. So the Tank gave me the bet. I got a fucking subjunctival hemorrhage, I think they call it. It's where the blood vessels in your eye pop or burst or whatever. So your eye turns, you got those little blood vein things in your eyeball. My fucking eye swole shut. And looking back at it now too, when me and him we fought, it was he's a left-hand southpaw. He's left-handed, so I think he's like the first left-handed person that I might have fought. So I think that was part of it too. Now that I'm looking back at it, because but I was also that's a whole nother story. I'll have to get into that one. It's kind of we had to fight on principle, and I'm glad that it went the way it did. Because I would have felt bad if I beat him up. Because like I said, we were fighting on principle. It was a stupid thing anyway, so I'm glad it went the way it did. And I also got the best fucking black eye I've ever had. Like I said, my eye turned red from the blood vessels popping in there. My whole face was swole shut. But yeah, I'll talk about that one another time. But the point of me saying that is like there was no technique. I was just muscling my grappling. I just muscled through everything, and I mean it worked. I choked a lot of people out, but which is not good. And at the time, that's the other thing they didn't really teach us, because when you're doing it, and then they tap. But so I got in a lot of situations where I was choking people out. That shit is dangerous. You can kill people if you hang on too long, because you're stopping the blood from going to their brain. You can give people fucking brain damage from that shit. And I don't know. That wasn't really impressed upon us how dangerous that was. So that was like my go-to move. I was choking people out all the time. All the time. Fucking young and stupid. Like I said, I was fucking drunk the whole time. Which is an excuse. I'm just saying it's a, good, I guess, reason not to be drinking. And also, there's a whole nother thing I'll talk about at another time, but there was a point in my life when I was like, yeah, I can't imagine myself not ever being drunk. I was just fucking young, Lance Corporal, fucking hammered all the time. But look at me now. Old and boring and not drinking. But, so yeah, really kind of the point of all that was like, yeah, so the vision board, and then trying to compare the difference between me now and me when I was in the military. So then I was able to kind of just be athletic and muscle my way through everything, and it worked. And then now looking that I've been doing only very little training. I think 3 months, 4 months now I've been doing it. But it's a huge difference seeing like applying actual technique and seeing people that are fucking good at applying actual technique. So I think that's also part of a lot of my interest, being able to analyze and break down and trying to learn the dance of fucking martial arts, and especially like Muay Thai, because they're fucking striking, like true striking practitioners. It's beautiful to watch when you see someone that's good at it. And even grappling, like I said, with Mason Fowler, it's incredible to watch that dude fucking grapple. Like, cause I don't. You gotta go check out Mason Fowler. He's his entire every point of his body. It's like he's a spider. Like he has I think it's called like sensilia, So spiders, their bodies are covered in those tiny little hairs, and I think it's called sensilia, where they're that's how they feel in their spider webs. They're able to feel vibrations in the web, in the air, and they can tell like shifts in air pressure, and obviously like especially on their web, so they can tell. They're so sensitive that they can determine when like a leaf falls on their web, or if it's a living insect or something that falls into the web. And I feel like Mason Fowler has that because he, excuse me, and he seems he usually uh, takes bottom. Like when he goes, uh, he's just he'll he'll like go to his back and try to get their legs, or let people come right into his guard, but he'll end up on bottom. But he's able to like roll his body, and he even the way he sets when he does set the heels of his feet on the ground, they're set in a very specific way, and then he adjusts as his opponent. He's holding his opponent, and they're shifting their weight and they're moving. You can see him making little adjustments with his feet, just shifting them. And it's so crazy to watch that he's so aware where every part of his body is touching the mat, and where every part of his body is touching the opponent, and even where it's not. Like you can see where he's angling his knee to one, because he knows his opponent can shift or will shift in one direction, and his knee's there to either to trap them, or to push them in another direction, or to just stop their movement and hold them in place where he wants them. So this dude is like got spidey senses, sensilia, I think is what it's called. But yeah, fucking incredible. But anyways, so yeah, that's I'm humbled by watching people that have been doing this their whole lives, and it's kind of depressing to be like, fuck, I'll never be there, but also it's cool to see that someone is able to do that, and then kind of it gives me an idea of kind of what to work towards, or that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's, I guess, also kind of part of the reason I started the podcast too, is just to talk through what I'm seeing, or what I think I'm seeing, or what I'm learning. Because it's like anything, when if you can observe something, but once you start trying, this is something that I apply to like learning languages too. It's like, yeah, I understand the process of making a sandwich, but can I explain in another language how to make a sandwich? Because it seems like a simple thing. I mean, I can do it in English. So I mean, I've been speaking English most of my life, but when you're learning another language, it sounds simple, but uh, it's a intricate process. So being able to provide instructions for someone else for them to understand. So it's like you're translating it in your own brain, and then translating it into whatever language. But then you also have the added, complication or obstacle of the receiver, and being able to convey it in a way that they understand. And if the way you're saying it, they don't get it, then you have to adjust, and you have to, change your words or your methods. So it's kind of that thing too, I feel like. So for me, about watching fighting, everyone kind of understands what you're looking at when you're watching fighting, but being able to explain to other people, or even articulate it for myself, like saying it out loud instead of that internal conversation where you kind of understand everything in your own head in a way, but once you start speaking it out loud, or for me at least, once I start speaking out loud, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, maybe I didn't understand it the way I thought I did, which I think you can be applied across all subjects in life, and probably should be. But for me in this specific instance, like I really enjoy watching all kinds of combat sports. So, and obviously, I mean, I guess I like talking about it too, because sit here and talk for an hour straight about it. Um, yeah. So I mean, I think those were the big points. Just all the times in my my life, like looking back now from where I am at the time, uh, like in the past, I kind of felt like I thought I knew what was I was doing, but looking back now, hindsight, they say hindsight's 2020, uh, and like fuck, if only I knew now what I knew then. So I'm sure in the future I'm gonna feel the same way. So I'm kind of in this race to acquire, to steal all the knowledge, to get it all, and you know grab it and fucking rear naked choke all the knowledge I can. And yeah, coming up on an hour. I'll call it quits here in a second. But what else is relevant? I wrote a whole bunch of notes, and I mean, I feel like yeah. Oh, so yeah, yeah. Because at some point too, I do kind of want to talk about, I guess, some yeah, like I said, some of the specific fights that I got into, and one kind of how stupid it was to get him in the first place, and also what looking back at how I should have socially handled it differently, and then also logistically or technically handled it different once I did get into the actual altercation. But also, I did want to talk about my boy. I forgot to ask him if he cares if I use his name or not. So I'm just call him Noju Hyun. And before I get into that too, so I did also say. So my dad told me, he always said, don't throw the first punch, but once they put their hands on you, then we have permission to get in to finish the fight or whatever. So that was one of the pearls of wisdom from him that I've carried throughout my life. And then two more that I got from his dad, my grandpa. He So there's one summer that I went. He lived out. He was like I guess like a hermit. He lived out in the Ozarks in a little kind of like trailer cabin in the middle of the Ozarks, and he like we used to go out and visit, and I really liked being out there in the wild and nature and being around there because right next to this river and shit. And it ended up, my dad talked to him into letting me stay with him for a week, and cause I was independent. I didn't like require any, like I could take care of myself. I was young. I don't know, 10 maybe, 10 or 11, maybe younger than that. But I was pretty independent, could take care of myself, and so I stayed with him for a week. And one of the things that he told me that I always remembered was, because I remember I think he posed it to me as a question. He's like asked me if what a friend was or what my idea was a friend, and I told him whatever answer I had. I can't remember what I said, but what he told me was that a friend. Let's see how to say. He said a friend is someone who will fight on your side even when they know that you are wrong. And this is like, I don't know, almost 30 years ago. So but that's what the I guess just the phrase that I remember or what I took out of was that he said that a friend is someone who will fight on your side even when they know you're wrong. And he said, and a friend will tell you that you're wrong, but that they're still gonna fight on your side. So, because and he grew up in a time and a place where I guess there was like they had a family feud. If you read, I wonder if you read the book or seen the movie Huckleberry Finn, and he runs into that one family. They were feuding with each other. I can't remember the name of his buddy, but his buddy, he ends up getting killed. It's like, so it's like a feud happens, whatever. Like somebody steals one of the other family's cows, or somebody they build fence on their land, and they're like, all right, now our families are feuding. Whenever we see each other, we have to shoot each other. So I guess my grandpa grew up in a time and place where that kind of shit happened, and he talked about like that for a while. They had to sleep on the floor because they couldn't go by the windows because the people might shoot through their windows or whatever, or whenever they hit by their house, they would shoot at their house, and vice versa or something like that. So that's the old country fucking shit that somewhere in Texas my grandpa grew up in. So so he told me, yeah. So then I'm pretty sure that's where this kind of mentality comes from. Where he's like, yeah, your friend, they'll tell you you're wrong, and you should also tell if you believe your friend. You're like, hey man, this isn't right. I don't agree with this. However, we're friends, so in this instance, we're in a fight. I'm gonna fight on your side. But I just want you to know that I don't think you're right in this situation. But you're my friend, so we're gonna fight together. And I kind of, that stuck with me. Obviously, I mean, I was like I said, it's almost 30 years ago or so. So, and it stuck with me. And the second part of that, he told me, in a fight, do anything to make yourself as big as the other guy. So he's like, the only unfair fight is the one that you lose. So he's like, so if you're fighting someone that's bigger than you, he's like, if you got to pick up a rock and hit him in the head with the rock or something, you do whatever you have to do. Because, I mean, he's using his advantage. There's nothing. It's not honorable just to get your ass kicked because, you're getting your ass kicked. He's like, and you don't know maybe how far this dude is gonna go. He might kill you or do something to hurt you even more. So he's like, so the point of a fight is to win. There's nothing honorable about losing the fight because you were trying to be nice. It's like once you get to that point, once you're in the point of fighting, you do whatever you have to make yourself as big as the other guy. So those are two like pearls of wisdom that I took from him in that week that we got to spend together. Excuse me. Ooh. But So yeah. So yeah, I wanted to use kind of those that to kind of give context. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off here in a second. Context to me and my boy Noji Hyun when we became soulmates. um, yeah, something, yeah, gay like that. It's gonna get I said that, but no, not actually homosexual, but very, we're brothers now, and like when I talk about him to people, I refer to him as my brother, and we don't always agree on things, but we still fight on each other's sides, and the time that our souls melded together. Uh, so there's this place on base. I don't know if I shouldn't. I'll call it the Knobson. It was like this little rec center where you could get. They sold like $5 pitchers of beer and played music. There's a dance floor. Ooh, excuse me. ASMR on I think Friday and Saturdays they would sell beer and play music. You sit on the patio. They had pizza. Kind of a lot of fights there. Now I'm thinking about it. I was trying to write down a bunch of stories, and there's at least 3 of them take place at the Knobson, and so this one. So yeah, me and my boy Noji Hyun, we had just met. I think I told a story before about the Marine Corps drinking team, and then I ended up being like the recruiter, where whenever new people showed up to the detachment, I would be like, "Hey, do you drink? You 21? Do you drink? All right, you're coming out. You're gonna try out for the drinking team." And he came out. He was fucking all about excited. There's that's a whole nother story too. With the night he got drinking to the team, but so this one, I was sitting down, and the drinking team, we would do this, and we called it the World Tour, where we'd start at the barracks, we'd be drinking in the lounge, then we would go up to the PX patio, and we'd drink at the patio, then we would go to the Knobson, we'd drink, because I had $5 pitchers at the Knobson, then we would go downtown, and we had different route. So it was like we had all these different bars that we would hit. It's called the World Tour, and we also had a rule. It's like when the grenade goes off, it's like everyone. The number one rule is everyone has to make it home. So you got to go out, get hammered, and he's like, because up until that point, like whenever I'd hung out with people, I was like, oh no, we can't. Our buddy's he's drunk, he's falling off. We gotta like corral him in or whatever. But the rule for the team was it's like, hey, you have to be able to get your ass home, and because it's like if you are so inept at drinking that you can't get hammered and make it home, it's like you shouldn't be drinking. You can't handle it. Because you got to be able to make it back to the barracks. You got to make it to class the next day. So if you're not able to drink with your big boy pants on, and that includes females. I'm just saying big boy pants because fucking our homegirl Ogre, that's a whole nother bunch of stories too. She was a fucking beast. R.I.P. But yeah, those are the rules. You got to get home. So anyways, we're the world tour, and we're on the part we're at the Knobson. And I'm sitting there, I'm eating a slice of pizza, and this girl who had been dating one of the guys I knew, who ends up, the dude, he ends up being a little bitch. But at this point in time, I was still friendly with him, and this girl had dumped him. This chick that I think she was in the Air Force, and I'll say her name was like. It was we'll call her name was like fucking Hammer, and so she comes walking out of the Knobson, and I'm sitting there eating pizza, and I see her, and I'm like, oh, hey everybody, there's Hammer, boo Hammer, boo Hammer, boo Hammer, and everybody because we're all at these tables, like the smoke pit and the outdoor patio, everybody everyone's just drunk, I guess. So everyone starts yelling, "Boo, Hammer!" And I'm looking back, and I was like, that sounds me. I guess I was being a bully, but to me, I was like, "Hey, you fucking hurt my friend's little bitch ass feelings because you dumped him and he cried about it. So I'm gonna boo you." And everybody started booing her, and she was like, ah, and like ran off. So then I'm just like, sitting there. I was all did my part. And then I go back to eating my piece of pizza, and then I look up and I see a dude walking because from where the little patio area is, there's a little kind of hill and it goes up and it's to like a road. And I see this dude walking down the hill. He's got this real sense of urgency about him. Like he's got something to do. He's going somewhere. He's on some errands. And I'm looking at him, and then he's walking. I'm like, oh, I think I'm this dude's errand. I'm one of his errands. Because he's looking straight at me, and he's walking down, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, I can see his mouth moving. I can't hear him yet. He's getting closer, and as he's getting closer, I'm like, I start laughing. I'm looking around. I was like, hey, I think this dude is coming over here. He's looking at me, and then I can hear him talking to me. He's like, yeah, bitch, I'm talking about you right there. So he's walking over. He's all huffing and puffing, and he walks up, and I'm sitting there eating my pizza still, and he's like, I can't remember what he says, but he's upset. I guess he has come to defend Hammer's honor. He didn't like that the patio had booed her, so he came to defend her honor, and I'm laughing because I'm just like, my mind is blown. I'm thinking it's funny, and everyone at the table. They're like, KoHoogkin, no, because at this point people had seen me get in fights already, and they knew, like I said, when we would go out, it's pretty much my goal was I was gonna hook up, get in a fight, or go get a Croce's pizza from this fucking like New York pizza place. So those were my goals. So it was like hook up, fight, and or get a Croce's pizza in any order. And if I did all three, there was fucking bang bang. It was the fucking trifecta. It was a great weekend or a great night or whatever. So I'm sitting there and everyone's like, KoHoogkin, no, or KoHoogkin, no. And I'm like, nah, I'm eating my pizza. Don't worry about this fucking guy. And he's like, oh yeah, you better worry about it. And he went to like push me, and I fucking like, I can't remember. I put the pizza down. I'm like, I'm trying to eat this pizza. I stood up, and he went to swing at me, and I just like slapped his hand away. Like I think I saw the pizza in my hand. He went to swing at me, and I slapped his. Oh shit! I went to slap his hand away, and I was just like, did you just try to hit me? And he's looking at me. He's like, and like I kept telling his face, like, it was like a real. It was. He's probably in Air Force, so he's probably never thrown a punch in his life. So I think it was like not even like a mush, because it was a fist, but I don't know, he threw it like a mush. Like he didn't throw, like he didn't, shift he didn't twist his hips and fucking his older and rotate his arm, or he just fucking, I don't know, he was like he was just flinging it. He was just like, meh. He was like, meh, right at my face, but with a fucking meat fist, with a meaty hand. So then I slapped his out of the way. Now I'm thinking about it, if he was smart, that would have been a great time to punch me, because I'm straddling the fucking the chair of the patio little table they're screwed into the ground. So I'm standing there with the thing in between my legs. If he had hit me square in the face, I probably would have fell over. But he just like, flung his little fucking bitch ass Air Force hand at me, and like, Air Force right at me, and I slap his hand away, and I'm like, I look at everyone, I'm like, this dude tried to hit me. So I'm like, all right, man. I put the pizza down. I was like, let's go over there. So I start to walk up the hill. I'm like, come on. No, it's like, he's like, no, we're going to do it right here. But I already knew the fucking Knobson. Like I said, I've been in like 2 fights already. And the first one, my buddy Dolbean punched this Army sergeant in the fucking face. That's another good story. But he punched him in the face. And then they called the cops immediately right after. So I knew, I was like, if we can't fight right here, man, we got to go across the street. If we fight here, they're going to call the cops. We're going to be arrested. But, short night for everyone. So let's go across the street. And he's like fucking puffing. He's like, no, do it right here, man. Like puffing out. And I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, you're going to do blah, 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 whatever. Let's just get across. And I'm walking up the hill to go across the street. And as I'm coming up the hill, there's like a group is gathering on the top of the hill. There's like 3 or 4 more dudes. So I guess Hammer had like a whole fucking entourage with her or something. Like the whole Air Force came out to defend her honor for her. And so this dude's getting hyped up. And then everyone was like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to fight like 5 dudes. But I think it was like 3 or 4. But I was like, man, I'm going to fight fucking multiple dudes. And then I'm offended. Like I'm pissed off. So then at that point, I'm more angry because I'm like, we got to go across the street, you fucking idiots. I know this is your first fucking rodeo. You're excited. You're like, ooh, I got to throw my little hands at fucking people. I was like, well, we got to go across the street. We're getting fucking arrested, you fucking idiots. So I'm getting hyped up about that because I'm like, these dudes are just stupid. They're fucking stupid ass Air Force bitches. And I'm yelling. And then I hear, like, no, oh, y'all ain't about to bank my fucking boy, fuck that. And I turn and I look, and I see my boy Noju Hyun. He had been down in the parking lot talking to his future ex-wife. But that he was talking to her down in the parking lot, and I forgot that he was there because he was still pretty new. He wasn't like, I guess he was like, because he did get drank into the drinking team like the first night he was there, but we were still like we were still kind of like just acquaintances, and he comes out of the fucking parking lot out of nowhere, like fucking cavalry riding up. So it's like me against like 3 or 4 dudes, and because I'm already I'm gonna go across the street. I was like, I guess we'll see how this turns out. It's like I already knew. I was like, all right, I already know this guy can't throw a punch. He just I don't know about these other guys though. Plus, it's 3 or 4 dudes, or they pie on, blah blah blah. All these considerations. It's like, where am I? I'm gonna have to like try to like get my back against a wall or something if I'm fighting all these dudes at one time. And then Noju Hyun comes out of nowhere. It's like, no, y'all ain't fucking banking my boy, fuck y'all. And he's like taking his shirt off, and he's coming up, and I'm like, it was just 2 of us, but you could feel the shift in the air. It's like the odds just with him coming up, the odds immediately turned in our favor. And we, I don't, I'm pretty sure the fight didn't actually end up happening at that point. I think it resolved somehow, and I can't remember if we actually got across the street, but I'm pretty sure we didn't actually fight at that point. And that was the time when our no Jihyun and our souls merged together. Cause I was like, yeah, this dude, he was down there trying to get some pussy, and he came out of like I forgot that he was there, but he just came out of nowhere. And when he showed up, it was like immediately, I was like, yep, it doesn't matter how many dudes are here, we're gonna fuck these motherfuckers up. And then I don't think the fight ended up happening at that point. I think it kind of resolved. Everyone was like, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun. Fucking Hammer's honor isn't worth this. Let's get out of here. So then it ended up being resolved, and that was the first time that we, even though I don't think we got in a fight that night. That was the first. I consider it the first fight that No Jihyun and I were in together, because after that, we did get in quite a few, and it was always that feeling. There's another story I'll tell a different time, but where he fucking saved my ass. Yeah, it's a whole story. It's a good story, but it's one of the ones where I was talking about where I said I got Scheiße, there we go. I'll turn my mic off on accident. Where I got one of those fights where I got I got knocked out. I got hit in the back of the head, and I didn't even know how it happened. But years later, one of my my roommates told me, because he was smoking outside and he saw it. Yeah, fuck. I want to tell the whole thing, but I'm gonna cut it off. But long story short, I picked a fight with a dude. We were going outside the fight, and I walked out in front of him. And what I remember is I go to step out the front door. So I remember taking my foot, going, my left foot, my kill foot's going to step out the front door. And then the next thing I remember, I'm looking up at this dude, and he's sitting on me. He's got a full mount, and he's punching me in the nose. And I found out later from my roommate, from a future roommate, or future from then, that he was outside smoking, and he heard a bunch of yelling. He saw the front door burst open. He saw me come out, and he said, as soon as I stepped out the door, someone punched me right in the back of the head, and I stumbled forward, but I didn't go down. And then another dude came out and pushed me, like shoved me right in the back between my shoulder blades, and I went poof, and I went down on the ground. So, because I was like, what the fuck? I remember I was going out the door. It's like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. Left foot, kill foot. And then I'm looking up at this dude punching me right in the nose. But yeah, and luckily I had that future roommate who was out there smoking, and he filled in the blanks for me. But and then so there's another me and No Jihyun story, but I'll tell that one another time. But yeah, the whole point of that was the time that when I really when him and I kind of I don't know. There's just sometimes in life, when you meet people and so that I'm trying to think of how to articulate it, but think about all these people like with their Facebook, Instagram filters and these little lies, and people are always presenting themselves a certain way. But there's times in life when you meet someone and you know how genuine they are. Like it doesn't, regardless of whatever they are wearing or driving or the house they live in, whatever. When you meet a person and you feel like that person, not their value, but kind of not their essence. I can't think of the word, but it's like you meet that person and you kind of you know who they are in a way. And for me, with No Jihyun, that was a time when I was like, yeah, I feel like we both knew who we were, and we just kind of clicked. And it was from there on, we were an unstoppable duo in more ways than one. We duoed a lot of different things. We also, got good grades together too. So, but yeah, that was the point of that. So, looking forward this week, yeah, check out the Chelsonen Underground Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. PST. And then Friday, maybe Bellator will be doing something. We'll see what they do. And yeah, oh yeah, the other thing, Mountain Force 21, mountainforcemma.com for 8th of January, Friday. I mean, looking at it does not look worth $21, but something to watch. So, and then Ryzen. Oh yeah, the Ryzen New Year's thing. So you can check that out. Do I have www.live-now.com to stream that $24.99. So get a little. Or also the UFC Fight Pass trial. Check that out if you don't already have it, because then there's all kinds of shit that'll maybe hold you over until the 16th. Oof, that bang bang banger on the fucking that week of third week of January. Gonna be crazy as long as COVID doesn't fuck it up. Oh man, all those fights. I mean, Cater Holloway, oof. Leon Edwards and Khamzat Chimaev, oof. Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. Oh my goodness. Can't even. Ugh. Can't even. I literally can't even. But anyways, that's it. Check it out. And yeah, fuck you. Later.